Yeah, I just did. Okay.
I like it. The more real, the better.
Yeah, the more the better. So this is the first time I am uh, interviewing and talking with my friend and fellow uh, uh, business owner. This is Handy Wang, and his food card is
Nice.
called Kim Jong Grill.
Yeah.
And so I kind of use my personal connection and reach out to Han because today I kind of feel um, a little bit less hope, so I kind of feel I want to talk to someone and I want to do this for a while. Then I just think that maybe some audience that could benefit from this conversation that we have.
Yeah. I think
So,
that's an awesome idea. Nong.
so what Han was saying, like the marathon, can you say that?
What can I say to what's going on right now?
Like you were saying about like like the
Oh,
marathon and it's hard.
it's just it's very crazy. I think now it's like there's no more opening a restaurant and making money. Like I think it's
Mhm,
definitely there's no more race. It's just a marathon. And
mhm,
if you can keep adapting, and it's difficult to adapt now because there's no one's done this before us.
mhm,
No one's done the PPE
mhm,
at the food carts, or none of us have ever dealt with this. So there's a lot of great ideas out there happening
mhm,
with other restaurants with what we're doing. And then there's a lot of, I mean, there's just a lot of ideas that don't work, you know?
mhm,
And I
mhm,
think a lot of times when you have a situation like this, you can go two ways. You can quit, and
mhm,
that's honorable because this is difficult, or you can adapt and you can find inspiration in something horrible, you
mhm,
know? And it's terrible to say, but like if you can rewrite your identity,
mhm,
in this
mhm,
time, then I think you'll
mhm,
be stronger in the long run, you
mhm,
know?
mhm,
So I think a lot of times
mhm,
what I find with Kim Jong Grilling now is that before it was a lot of fun, and look, there's Han drinking, and there's you
mhm,
know there's there's
mhm,
people smoking weed and having a good time, to
mhm,
now where it's very serious and I have to stand up for something, and it's something I avoided at my business a very long time.
mhm,
Like
mhm,
not too many people understand that, like, when I go to try to support places, I try to really listen and put myself there in everybody else's shoes, and it's
mhm,
not easy to be it's not easy to do, and now I feel more than ever I have to stand up for something.
mhm.
Like,
So like what are the challenges right now? But obviously, before the pandemic, it does seem like the business is going well. You can
mhm.
that's up and down. Look like for you, but like look like in general, it's busy. It's going well. And now, what are the challenges?
So a lot of my challenges now, well, let me kind of take it back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest challenge was having sustaining business,
Mm-hmm.
to have continual business, to go through the winter time. You remember what it's like being in a food
Mhm.
cart,
Mhm,
where
mhm,
and to really try to translate it. And instead of having, normally in March we start getting busy again from the winter time, but
mhm,
it's
mhm.
like we had a second winter.
Yeah, no, it longest
To
night.
brighten
Like
up. Yeah,
winter is coming. Like
yeah,
it's like this is the real winter feel. Like winter,
yeah.
it's
It
not
really is.
summer. Yeah, the
It really
longest
is.
winter. Yeah.
And then, but what the hardest thing was when I reclosed for 3 weeks, but the hardest thing was when we reopened, was to make sure that I had to change my mindset It can't
So
be.
so you were closed when the pandemic when
Yes.
they said ordered
Yeah.
us to shut
Yeah.
down, and so you closed for about
Yeah.
3 weeks, and then now
Yeah.
you reopen.
Yeah. And when we reopened, the hardest part was to change
Yeah.
everything. Like I had to make my boxes smaller. I had to
Mm-hmm.
keep an eye on even meat, has been so
Mm-hmm.
fluctuating in prices. And then
Mm-hmm.
to really get a better understanding of people. And
Mm-hmm.
that's, I think, where we had the advantage is because I
Mm-hmm.
was so face to face with customers that I knew when we reopened, um, it had to be less than we were. So we're only 5 days a week, but we had to be very smart. We had to make sure like there's no dead hours for us. We had to make sure to pack as much of that in, and it's very hard to translate from what the people want to see
Mm-hmm.
because we have so many people coming in masks, and we have a lot of people that don't have masks. We have people with gloves,
Mm-hmm.
and so to accommodate a lot of
So
that.
when you say people, you mean customer?
Customers, yes,
Yeah.
customers,
Yeah.
and to make and I find now customers are like super customers,
Mm-hmm.
because they know they have to support us because we supported them, like
Mm-hmm.
we've think about all the times we donated our time and our money and our product to help the community.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more than ever the community has to come back to us,
Mm-hmm.
and it's humbling, but it's also, like I said, now the customers are like superheroes to us, and we treat them like that, but we also, just like as good as they can be, some of them can be very bad too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
today, what when we are talking today, this is about 10 or 11 day that beside the pandemic, we have the protests, going on
Hmm.
all over the country, and our town is the same, is the protest, is there anything uh, about the protest, or like the unrest, social unrest affect you?
Yes. Yeah, personally it affects me because uh Nong, I have a big heart, and I think it's horrible what's happening, but I think the protests need to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said earlier, like now I'm not just a business.
Mm-hmm.
Now every business is a brand because of social media, and
Mm-hmm.
every business has to, if you stay silent, then it looks like you're on the wrong side.
Mm-hmm.
You speak too much to one side or the other, it makes it, you have to justify your convictions in
Mm-hmm.
it. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
like I think police brutality is wrong, and I stand on the side with the people.
Mm-hmm.
And how it affects my business is that I lost a lot of followers, and I lost a lot of people because they don't believe the same thing I do. But
Mm-hmm.
that also told me it's a testament to how many people believe in this movement and how many people go against it. And
Mm-hmm.
business wise, this is what I'm talking about. Like it's not for profit anymore for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just if I can stay alive,
Mm-hmm.
then that's a success. And
Mm-hmm.
now
Mm-hmm.
if I can stay alive and show my support to what's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm very much ahead. I'm very much winning. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like with all the protests happening too, like I think some people I think some people can stay silent, but not for long. I think now is the time that you have to choose a side, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
you have to say something if you have a platform. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Did you get like the vandalize and things like that at all? Where you see?
Yeah, I got hold on one second. I have to send this out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Oh no, like I said, the real possible, the better.
You know, because we both are.
Like this is like on the fly. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, I
Can I
know.
call you? And then you like, I'm like, I have to do it now
It's
too because
okay.
my son is like sleeping too. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
No, I got help. I got my landlord and I had a really good conversation. He said to stay alive. Don't worry about rents. Like I just paid March rents, and then April we were closed. You know, pretty much. And my landlord understood the excuse me, like how bad it's getting. So he helped me out with that rent, and then I applied for the PPP loan through my bank, and I applied March 30, and I didn't hear from them. And then I canceled my application, and then I applied through Square.
Oh yes, yeah.
And Square gave it to me less than 24 hours.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Pretty funny how that works.
No, I did the same thing. I applied to a couple bank, and I didn't like, you know, we were talking and I was like was texting you, so I didn't get any. And then and then Square, they say you can apply to Square, so I applied to Square. And then but they say they cannot approve my application because I was applied to other bank. So my application is tied to other bank, but I got heard back from Square first and they reject my application. So
Oh no.
luckily the other bank contact me back, and then like, you know, but later, and then like, so I think like a part of the challenge is that the like the unknown and the constant change, you know. So when you were closed, and then you reopen at first, you it does sound like it just you working. Did you have any staff right away?
I had some people help me, but you know, it was like year one all over again. You know, like I just had to sit there and start and working more hours. But something crazy happened is that when we reopened, we were so busy, like so busy, I couldn't keep up. And then, so what I did was, and at this time, we still didn't have the PPP loan or anything. So what I did was with my old employees, I said, listen, I'll take all your hours and back pay. Just trust me, you know, and we'll make sure this happens. And so they did, and it was a gamble. You know, it's like gambling. You know, like, hey, I swear this money will get here through the PPP loan. But what ended up happening was we got enough money for my first payroll from being open. Then I got the PPP loan, and then that is now kind of turned into like a savings account. You know, like it, like everything kind of had to shift around a little bit. But you know, help or no help, you know, Nong, it felt like year one all over again.
Yes.
Right? You know, like 100% felt like I'm reopening. I'm opening a new business, and I think a lot of restaurant owners don't understand that's what's happening right now, and I think a lot of people have to realize that, you know, like, and especially like with, I think it's in our advantage now. You like Nong's Kamon guy, I think Kim Jong Grillen, people of color own businesses. It's in their advantage now that there's so much more support for us, because between the pandemic and between pandemic and between the political climate, you know, like a lot of things are coming into our favor. But we have to be ready that it's going to be taken away too. So yeah. Did you find when you reopened, did you like you close for how long?
We didn't close.
You didn't close at all.
I didn't close at all. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You got no breaks.
I didn't break. And that was a gamble. Like I didn't know either if it's gonna work or not. It was, like, yeah. I was kind of watching a lot of like news and like YouTube
Mm-hmm.
from my own country because like in Thailand we went through the financial crisis in 1993.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there it was like one of so they were doing some interview and it also were kind of happened, the outbreak in China. So in Asia they kind of got it a few months, like few weeks before us. So I was kind of like researching like what to do, what like
Mm-hmm.
there's no answer, and then there was like a lot of few, not a lot, like interview, and they were asking like business leaders in Thailand that
Mm-hmm.
the business that is like big, like real big, like as big as Walmart in US in comparison. And they were talking a lot about like save your staff, save the bottom, like and
Mm-hmm.
like in Thailand there's no help from government, not
Right,
yet,
right.
not unemployment. Like if I think there's some that is like maybe 100 baht, 120 baht, that's it, and it's so like the business owner has to figure it out. And I thought
Mm-hmm.
like that was helping me. So in the beginning I don't know what's gonna happen or what the government to do, but I just kind of like, okay, uh, calculate the risk and the plan and what I need to do, you know
Yeah.
and one of the original I thought is that like, okay, um, you know, uh, it had to feel right for me too. And I thought that that decision was come from the heart, and I decided to keep open. and
Yeah.
and just that decision, and as everything unfolded now, is that there's a lot of unknown. So that's a lot of both reaction,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, oh yeah, you're just gonna make us um shut down longer, or like, all the thing like.
Mm-hmm.
And but I did that. I thought that I can shut down for a year, but
Mm-hmm.
what about my staff? Like, what are they gonna eat?
Yeah.
Like, and I honestly, and of course I couldn't save everyone, and so I saved 8 people, and just go from there, start
Yeah.
from day one. But then like, and then about a month or 2 months later, I thought about save more people, and then we
Yeah.
start like wanna bring people back more on. And I realized that they get pay more from unemployment than working,
Mm-hmm.
so like, yeah, so and then it was create some type of resentment for the people that
Mm-hmm.
working, because they're like, why am I working, because
Yeah.
I stay home
Yeah.
and I get paid more, and then also like, because I offer like food, like if they work with us and like they're hungry, just come get food. And they came
Mm-hmm.
to get food from our staff, and then they say like, oh, by the way, don't call me back, like, because
Damn.
they never get paid more than their life.
When we're not recording, send me the list of names. Send me like
Oh, yeah,
no, but I know that's
yeah.
but that's so hard because I think a lot of employees they
Mm-hmm,
don't understand.
mm-hmm,
There's no way to show like, especially because your place and my place are very similar. Whereas passion, we
mm-hmm,
can't do anything else. Like this is it, and
mm-hmm,
it's hard to show your old employees like,
mm-hmm,
hey, I went out of my way to help you.
mm-hmm,
Can you
mm-hmm,
just maybe give some love back, anything? And it's very difficult for people to
Mm-hmm.
understand, and then that,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what, with the people that did stay with me,
Mm-hmm.
um, that was that like made me cry because they were just like, we'll work until we can't anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and so the real ones showed up and the ones that
Mm-hmm.
don't can leave,
Mm-hmm.
so
So the people that they have that privilege of get
yeah.
unemployment, they are the one who does that. But there's people that they don't get unemployment for whatever reason,
Hmm. Yeah.
that they need it. And I at first I honestly didn't know what to do,
Hmm.
and like I heard about like the power of asking, for years, like
Hmm.
more than 5 years, like when like Kickstarter happened, and
Hmm.
saw like some lady was doing TED Talk, and she got 1 million views, and she talked about power of asking. But I never consider myself worthy of asking. Like, to me, my journey is like, I work hard, and then that's how
Yeah.
I get it. I never ask. And but like I was in an email chain with like James Beard
Hmm.
Foundation, and they send out like articles saying like there's a lot, and I couldn't keep up. But one click that I clicked, there was an article on Wall Street Journal, and they were advising how chefs and restaurateurs should look for capital, but basically it's a cash flow game. Whoever
Hmm.
lasts, it is about who lasts, and one of
Yeah.
you need cash, and then you say like you should explore the option of the public funding, and like start GoFundMe account. And that was one of the piece of the puzzle. Like the staff came back and say, hey, don't call me
Hmm.
back. It's one of the puzzle that make me create GoFundMe and other
Hmm.
things. Like, and I swallow my pride, did that, and I never
Oh
looked
man.
back. And I within 15 minutes that
Hmm.
it started, you know my heart was racing. Like within 1 minute, or within 1 minute, like that somebody donate $30, and
Yeah.
I was shocked. Like I just click on someone
Yeah.
donate. Yeah, and then within
Yeah.
5 minutes, so I create that and go to bed.
Hmm.
And then before I go to bed, like within that 15 minutes, my old employee, who is, I know he doesn't have a lot of money, you
Hmm.
know, Juan Carlos. His name is Juan Carlos, and he has a little boy, 2 year old. And
Hmm.
I wasn't able to save him. He donated $5, and that's
Yeah.
that's it for me. I was like, holy shit! Like I was like,
Yeah.
people, like it is not the money, but it's just like, hey, like like maybe there's somebody that see that I'm trying, I did something, or maybe I did something right in the past or
Yeah.
whatever, like, and that is what I went to sleep with, and I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I know. I did a GoFundMe because in March, the beginning of March, we were so slow. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like you said, it was like 3 more months of winter. Like we
Mm-hmm.
lost so much business, and I had to do a GoFundMe to pay my last paychecks to my employees.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, I, like that Tuesday, I think March, they like March 17th,
Mm-hmm.
like 12,000 people lost their job in
Mm-hmm.
restaurant industry. So I changed everything to just give it away for free. Just give
Mm-hmm.
all the food away for free. I'm gonna have to restart, And when I came to do the Kickstarter, I wasn't sure either, or the GoFundMe
Mm-hmm.
to pay my guys. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was, I told my guys, like, I promise you, I'll do everything that I can
Mm-hmm.
to make sure you get taken care of. And then when it came time to do everything, I thought I did everything, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. The last thing I had to do was to ask, to do that, to
Mm-hmm.
ask and do
Mm-hmm.
that GoFundMe. And we got our GoFundMe happened in a week. We got all the money, a little bit over, and I was able to pay my people. And that's very hard, I think, for people. I think for Asians, the way that we grew up, like it's very difficult to ask for help. Like I don't care if you're Thai, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Asians in general is very difficult because we'd rather hurt first and then and before we ask for help.
Yeah, it's like you don't ask because everyone struggle. You pay. You have to pay.
Yeah, so fast. Like I remember when I was younger. Like if I asked for help, my mom would be like, "This person isn't like you. Like these people need it before you." And it's always been like that in my brain, in my heart, but I think the older I grow up now, I see why that's so helpful to have that mentality because that creates empathy. So, and I think we're both very empathetic people, but when it comes to helping something that's ours, it's very difficult to ask for help. So so where's the business now? How are you doing? Like are you
so I had 2 locations. I still closed that one. I want to reopen, but with what's going on, I just I'm gonna wait. I think there's people that I wanna bring back, with us, and my landlord over there, he doesn't help me anything. I did try to negotiate the lease, and it wasn't successful. So I stuck with the lease. So I'm paying rent.
Yeah.
And of course that's always on my mind. But I think that I think that I'm gonna wait for a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's better to be safe.
Yeah. And then right now I think I'm just like a lot of people that try to survive, and hopefully when this is over I still have the business to go back to, and then I think main role is make decision, and sometimes nobody know if it's right or wrong.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. It's like I said, it's very difficult to go back, and I don't think there is going back. I don't think there's something to go back to. I think you have to rewrite it. I think a lot of times, I look at some other restaurants that had really exclusive, very expensive dinner services, and now maybe the ticket price is like 125, 150, 175, Now it's like this destroyed that business. How are you going to adapt, and then to see other places try to adapt to it now, it's hard to see. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news to anybody, but after this, I don't think there's going back. There's only going forward and try to pivot, make the right decisions to do something new, or try to, if you don't have anything new, then you have to try a new method, something. You can't go back. And a lot of restaurants I see now, they do a lot of meal kits and to-go kits and stuff, which is great. But how long are people going to keep coming back for that? People come back to your business and people come back to my business because I think a lot, it's good food. We have good food. But after the good food, it's also, I think our regular customers are the ones that will carry us through this pandemic part. And then in order for it to grow, those same people that are regulars are going to be the ones to tell new people to come and help you and come eat your food, So that's where I truly believe that's that's the new shit.
So like what keep you motivated right now, because it does sound like um you keep going, you talk about like the challenges of adapting and changing, but you did that, pass the first hurdle,
hmm
and then like it does sound like you want to keep going. Like what keeps you
Oh
going?
yeah. So what keeps me going, Nong, is that I think
What's that you peel off paper?
me paper,
No,
yeah.
what's that? What's that package you open? You
This?
just open something, the blue. Yeah.
Oh no, that's just
Oh,
tape. I'm a nervous person.
oh,
Oh, I think
oh.
for me, what keeps me going now is that I feel like these past 2 weeks, I found my voice. I know that sounds funny because I talk a lot, but I think I found my voice and I want to
What's your
use it.
voice? What's your voice?
I think my voice is to help, man. I think it's to help people. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like, it was heartbreaking to see everything that's going on politically now. And I think if I can keep going,
Mm-hmm.
what motivates me is that I can keep having a voice, or I can keep being an example. There's somebody else that's going to open another food truck, or somebody that's going to
Mm-hmm.
try to get better at what they're doing. And I want to be a resource now. I don't want to just help. I want to help plus, like
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of our industry is broken, man. Like a lot of this, it's a male dominated
Mm-hmm.
business, as especially like a lot of cultural appropriation that's happening. There's a lot to tackle, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a good example of not being any of that. I
Mm-hmm.
think you've done a really good job,
Mm-hmm.
Nong, as being a voice for women and people of
Mm-hmm.
color.
Mm-hmm.
People really look up to your story, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I think if you spent like 2 minutes thinking about it, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see how powerful your voice is. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's not a voice anymore. That's like you have a roar, and that's what's really,
Mm-hmm.
really motivating. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
that happen with us,
Mm-hmm.
with our businesses, that we have a platform, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because if you're
Can
taking
you
like
roar? Let's roar.
yeah,
Roar.
I think we do.
Roar.
No, but you know what I mean, though. But
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get what I'm saying, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've met so many people that like that get starstruck, and they're just like, oh my god, Nong. I'm like, Nong is amazing. I wouldn't be here without her. I wouldn't have a lot of the motivation, that push for greatness as a person of color and business.
Mm.
You were the one that led that way. Like not too many people understand or respect that about you. Other type businesses have opened and closed,
Mm-hmm.
but you are the legacy to chase. Does that make sense? Like
Mm-hmm.
people
I
have people
appreciate
are
that. That's very
yeah.
nice. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. It's the truth. It's the truth. I talk to a lot of other people in
Mm-hmm.
this business because it's very difficult. I
Mm-hmm.
get very emotional talking about this, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very difficult to like not to to do this blindly was so hard. To do
Mm-hmm.
this with no help was fucking difficult. I
Mm-hmm.
can only imagine now doing it with no one to look up to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Impossible. So I think that's what motivates me, is to see that.
I think like I mean since it's like recording, I think like if someone listen to this, they don't know about us, like so I met Han through
Oh
shop.
yeah,
We went to
yeah.
shop
We met through
together,
chance.
and when
Oh,
we
that was so scary.
yeah,
Oh my
and
god.
then the casting director were actually like in front of the food cart, like at that hotel. And
hmm
then I was the first one there because I was like, hey, I can go see you, but I had to go back and cook. And then once I finished talk with the producer, and then I came out, Han is next. And I never have met Han before, but I heard that Han's food cart got burned down.
Yeah.
So I gave you Han, and I still remember you smell like barbecue. And I was like, No, and I met you after that I met you the second time too. Okay, first thought of my mind when I hug you, I smelled. I was like, shit, he won't be a good cook, like and I was like, and I know like you have family, and then I thought like, hey, you know, like say, Han, you have to do this. You need this. Like your family need this. Yeah. Right. And then we end up
in New
saw
York.
each other in New York, and we compete with each other.
That was so funny because I remember seeing you at the casting in Portland and being like, oh my God, that's Nong, you know, and then seeing all these other chefs going. And I didn't have much, I didn't have anything, you know, I didn't have a food cart. And I was like, okay, well, someone else that'll probably happen to somebody else. And then I remember going to New York, I was so scared because we had to go to that Starbucks at like 4 a.m. I remember just like walking and looking. I was like, who is that? What? Person has a backpack and blonde hair and a bright orange hat.
I was looking to Rihanna. Like
yeah, you
like,
were
I'm
yeah, you were in it to win it. I remember I saw you. I was like, no,
like who is that person?
Yeah, and then I just watching you through the whole process of Chopped was great because I think so many people knew you for chicken and rice, you know? But I remember we were touring, we were going through the kitchen and they're like, okay, here's the pantry, here's this is the blast chiller. And then you were like, had a question and the woman was like, yeah, what's up? And you were like, that mortar pestle, can I use that? And she was like, yeah, it's decoration. You're like, okay. And that's what I knew. I was like, shit, Nong is all business. Don't get in her way.
Oh.
So, but that was such an experience, you know, like, wow, talk about life changing. Because you just opened your brick and mortar, like right when you flew back, right?
Yeah. Like it. Actually,
gosh,
the
that's so
restaurant
funny.
was open on Tuesday, and we will compete on Thursday or Friday.
Thursday.
Thursday, and I came back, and I think like on Saturday I had a TED talk all in same week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That all happened in same week. Yeah. And then I was like, shit, I better win. Like if I can talk, right? Like who am I like got a microphone and talk? Like, you know, like I better be good at something. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I couldn't tell anyone. I couldn't tell anyone about the result for a while.
No, I know. What's funny, Nong, is that so I don't know if you know this. So I had to stay to do the interviews after Chopped, right? You still had one more round to go. And I was supposed to leave right after I got voted off or Chopped.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, wait. They're like, wait. We need to see you. Like, we need to interview a little bit more. And I was like, okay. So I stuck around. And in the back, like, you know, I was in the back doing the interviews, but I was hearing you cooking. I was hearing the action in the chop room. And I was like, oh my God, I think she's going to win, you know? And they didn't they were like when they sent me away, I just found out that you won and everybody knew. And they're like, wait, come back on. You have to sign this paperwork. You can't say shit, you know? But that was such a good feeling because it was like Portland food trucks versus New York food trucks. I don't know. It was great, man. That was such a I don't think about it that often. And I don't watch myself on TV at all. I still haven't watched Chopped. My family has, but I haven't. But I always think of it so fondly because when I left, I was like, shit. It was like a fantasy, awesome fantasy. Like, oh, I was just on TV in New York, and then I'm gonna go back to Portland to nothing. And then I was like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna go get money. I'm gonna find a truck. I'm gonna reopen, and I have until August to open it back up. So that was amazing.
Still hustling, you know. Yeah.
Still hustling. We both are still hustling.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what I think. If anybody listens and sees this, that's the thing to remember. Just keep going, right? Don't stop. So.
Yeah. I so one last question
Yeah.
I have is that like now like I feel like rise and fall and the cycle, like we like from up and down to this up and
Hmm.
down, from like you were like really popular, food card burn down, get back up,
Hmm.
and rise again, and then now like you in the business for a while, and you see like from no one, like me think like me like knowing nothing, and then now you see like the whole cycle of like how like all like how the media
Hmm.
I'm talking about food in particular, like like now you can see like, oh, the rise and fall of this cycle, and they're like, yeah, there will be like new food cart open every day and they get like line up or interview and things like that, like what 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 you have learned, and what would you like to say to the aspiring business owner, food cart owner that are chasing that dream and coming into this arena?
That's a great question. I think the one of the things. Hold on one second. Harlow, can you let Homer out? Yes, you can have either one. And can you let Homer out? Sorry, it's my daughter. I would say find your allies. Find the people that will support you, and
Mhm,
if you can do it, by yourself and
mhm,
no partners,
mhm,
that's the way to go. And because no one's gonna believe in your project like you're gonna believe in it.
mhm,
And
mhm,
like it's just like you said, the media stuff will find you. So there's no point in looking for it. There's no
mhm,
point in trying to make a list. There's no point in that whatsoever. If
mhm,
you do it because you love it, then that's it. Game
mhm,
over. And when someone comes by your food cart and they buy your food for the first time, and you make food, you get payment, and you give them the food, you've
mhm,
already won. That's
mhm,
winning. You're done.
mhm, mhm,
Anything after that is a bonus.
mhm. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Well, I'm sorry to wrap it up.
no,
I
that's
like
okay.
I did it longer than I thought.
Yeah, I know.
You have no idea, like you helped me so much to
No, of
like
course.
I have a
Anytime.
list, like I write a list, I didn't use any, it's on my head,
Good.
like
Good.
it just like I just feel like because we're friends, like I'm comfortable with you, and I
Yeah, of
know that
course.
is real and it is genuine, and I feel relaxed because I kind of
Good.
nervous, and especially like doing it you know in English, and like so yeah,
Hmm.
I really appreciate your time. I know, like people ask, I'm sure people ask you a lot, or like, oh, do interview, all this or that, and you have you're
Hmm.
busy, and thank you for spending
No,
time
no,
with
of
me.
course. I say no a lot more than I say yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I say no a lot more than I
yeah,
say yes. And I think,
yeah,
yeah, anything. I mean, I think a lot of what I think a lot of times people very much like people respect people respect people that would give the time, and you've always given me the time, and I've always appreciated that. So
hmm
you're welcome. Anytime. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. And then I
Thank you,
will
Nog.
work on it. I let you know when I uh,
Yeah,
share it. I'll tag you and let you know. But thank you so
mhm,
much for
yeah,
today meeting,
of
and
course.
I feel better too. I feel more more positive, and like
Good.
and I hope that's what I'm hoping for, that the people that if they see this and they are in the similar circumstances like us, it helped them in some way, you
Yeah,
know.
I hope so too.
Yeah, and whatever they decide, even if decide to downgrade, and maybe if they're gonna like, you know what, I'm gonna get back on the horse and ride it, like, you know, or whatever, but or even just make anyone feel a little bit lighter today, and
Yeah.
hope.
Good. I'm glad I could help. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right.
Okay.
I'll
Alrighty.
see you soon, okay? I'll come and visit you. Are you there all the time?
No.
No. I'll stop by and pick up lunch this week from the crew, okay?
Yeah, I'm watching the kid right now, so I kind of have like, my kid is still like 2 years old, so it's just kind of hard. You
He's
know
running
what I
around.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like
He's fast, right?
active. Yeah, right now. So it just, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
if I don't have the kid, yeah, of course. Like I you know, as usual, you know, but like, it's just my life is changed, you know. So
I know.
Yeah. So
It's difficult. It's difficult, but it's also yeah, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When Harlow was 2, I was out of shape. I had to get into shape to chase her.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah.
So okay, well, I'll talk to you
Thank you
soon,
so
okay?
much. Thank you
Of
so
course,
much. Okay,
anytime.
bye.
All right, I'll see you.
Thank you.